Welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, where our mission is to provide education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. USA Global TV and Radio connects you with experts and audiences all around the world every single day to help you succeed in business and to live a richer life. Visit us at usaglobaltv.com to learn about career and life-changing training and mentoring programs like the Listening Mentor. Subscribe to our newsletter to stay informed about our special programs and offers. Discover how you can become a guest on one of our shows or a host or producer of a USA Global TV and Radio show of your very own. That's USA Global TV and Radio, where the doctor is always in.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, where we provide world-class education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. I'm Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, and I'm thrilled to announce that we have expanded our platform from social media to Roku worldwide, as well as Amazon Fire and soon to be Apple TV. Today's show is the United Kingdom News and Culture episode 111, and I really feel that we're going to have at least 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 hours just to cover what's going on in the United Kingdom. Our dear friend and the star of our show, DIANN BOEHM, is on holiday today. Let's welcome our expert correspondents who have their hands full. It is the lovely, vivacious, dynamic, beautiful HELENA CHARD, who is an international award-winning broadcaster, and she, in her own right, has accomplished so much. Let's hear a little bit from her before we get down to the news. Hello, HELENA. How are you?
Hello. So lovely to see you, Jacalyn. Excited for today. I got here by the skin of my teeth, so I feel really proud of myself.
I am just so grateful that you're here today. I know you're covering news all over the world, so thank you for taking the time to be here with us.
Thank you. I wouldn't miss it for the world. We've done it for so long, and it's 111, which is amazing. Amazing, isn't it? That's something to celebrate.
Absolutely. And HELENA, for people who are joining us on our new platforms, Roku Worldwide, as well as Amazon Fire, and also we have our audio only audience as well. You're a broadcast journalist, you're a royal expert. Tell us a little bit about your background and why you're here today.
So my background is actually, funny enough, casting, royal photography, which then led to, I guess journalism to begin with, but then to broadcast journalism, which is really good fun. And I've been working with lots of different platforms, including USA Global TV, but platforms around the world where I'm used as I work as a correspondent. I share information about various things. I cover various stories if necessary for different platforms. And obviously, I really enjoy my royal photography. I don't do that as much now, but I do certain celebrations and still have certain clients, so that I'm really happy to be able to offer my photography too. So that's it in a nutshell. And I do a lot more as well, but I think just keep it at that for now. Thank you. Thank you for giving me that opportunity.
Thank you so much. It's an absolute pleasure. Let's also welcome our other team member, expert correspondent, Mr. Simon MacDonald. He is a keynote speaker. He most recently became an author. He's going to be an author ×2. He's a celebrity chef, and he is an expert when it comes to all things related to fisheries. Let's welcome him to our program. Hello, Simon.
Hello, it's lovely to be back. I really look forward to this Wednesday afternoon, or every Wednesday afternoon, and it's just, it's lovely. It's just great. Gets a chance to catch up on some of the news as well, which I miss when I'm wearing my other hats and doing all sorts of other things. So yeah, it's great. And 111, wow, that's pretty good going.
And we're all still here getting along, which is fabulous. So.
Yeah, I love it.
Simon, I would love for you to share a little bit with our new audiences about the work that you do and why you're here today.
How long have we got? Well, I've been around in the fisheries and aquaculture and fish processing, food processing industry now for more years than I care to mention. Actually, it's over 40 years. Don't tell anybody. And so I've been doing that, and been doing a lot of television presenting and cookery shows and what have you, both in the UK and overseas as well. Did a 6-part series in Portugal and cooking with Portuguese foods and pairing their wines and so on. So every day is very different for me, and even today, I mean, I've been to 2 or 3 different meetings about totally unrelated subjects as well. So that's it. And if you don't look forward to Monday morning, it's time for a career change. I love Mondays.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. I appreciate you both. So obviously there's so much going on, and here in the States, it's nonstop about Kate. Is it her? Was it her? Was there a body double? It's crazy. So I'm sure you're getting the information hot off the press long before we are here in the States. Helena, I'm going to turn over to you. I know you've got a lot to share with us today. We're at the edge of our seats, and then Simon's got another fabulous presentation for us.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Can you hear me?
We're having a hard time. It's clicking in and out.
Okay.
Do you have your AirPods on? It's probably them.
Do it. Let's see. Apologies.
There you go.
I could just do it through.
There you go.
Can you hear me? Or
yes, perfect.
You can hear me? If I move, apologies, just stop me and I'll have to try and come off the AirPods. There's something wrong. So we've had a very busy time here in the UK. In fact, there's been lots of international interest. There's lots of people and camera crews around Buckingham Palace at the moment, as we have been updated via PR agencies, without saying too much, and internal circle, that there will be an announcement made shortly. So people are at Buckingham Palace on tenterhooks, wondering what's going on. But it's been so busy, and I'm surprised as well. I'm interested, Jacalyn, that there's been a lot of US coverage as well for the Princess of Wales. So I'll speak to you about that afterwards. But here, oh my goodness, so many platforms have been wanting to know what's been going on. So to begin with, I think we'll start with happy International Day of Happiness, everyone. But moving on, there's a reason for that as well. It's great to see you again, Kate. So obviously we know that there's been so many conspiracy theories. It's actually got very nasty internationally, which has saddened me hugely for poor Princess of Wales, who's been recuperating, and things have gone mad. But this is just the Sun's front page. I believe this was from yesterday. I'm actually losing touch of time at the moment because there's been so many. This is it. So great to see you, Kate. So we had the photograph. It was all to do with photo manipulation. the Mother's Day photo, which got out of hand. And in the end, really, Kate, they had to be seen out and about. So this is them at their local farm shop in Windsor. As you can see, Catherine is smiling, William's with her. I mean, there's been so many things going on. I can't believe it. It's good to see them out and about. And this was just a Joe Blogs who'd captured this image and sent it on. They'd released a story to begin with. This is the media, the papers, but didn't have any imagery with it. So again, it sent all the conspiracy theorists saying the most dreadful things internationally about Princess of Wales, but she is doing really well. My feeling is I was actually getting quite upset with some media platforms, because it's one thing having these people online furiously, typing away. What do you call? I was about to say moles, but people say terrible things about people. It's not fair. But in fact, some of the media platforms were beginning to join in, and there was somebody, I can't remember her name, from the BBC, who in fact started talking and saying that that's not Kate. I can see it's not Kate. It's a body double. It has to be a body double. Anyway, but I mean, that in fact saying it's a body double is quite a fun aspect. The other sides of the very dark sides of people trolling, it was so not fair, and felt very sorry. She was quite shaken up, Kate, with all the negativity, even though they don't actually follow social media, but they have their team that looks out for them. So it's been a funny time in that I know the lookalike Heidi Agan very well. So she then became the centre of attention, and overnight her social media and the whole world has been interested in her. And she found it quite shocking, but obviously great, because this is also part of her livelihood, her family's livelihood. So this is just a snapshot. Now, I just got such great. This she gave it. She said, absolutely, it wasn't me. I wasn't at the farm. She was incredibly busy. No, you can't hear me?
We couldn't hear you when you were showing that picture, but you're clicking.
Okay. Shall we start again? I wonder if I can just take it off and put it on the computer.
Now we can hear you.
Now you can hear every time I do that. Okay. So if I click it, it goes on. Again, can you hear me?
Yes.
Should we go back to the there's also a little clip. I don't know if you've got that. So this is the photograph. This is Heidi Agan. She's a very popular lookalike here in the UK. She does a huge amount of work internationally. Not such a great shot, in fact, of her, and that's also the Prince William lookalike as well, Simon. But they do a lot of work internationally, various things, even decoy work, and very exciting things. I mean, you could almost do a whole show on it. But she was contacted, everyone all of a sudden, 24 hours, she was like, it was trending, and she couldn't believe the amount of interest. She's been on all the TV channels saying it absolutely wasn't her. And I do think this is what upsets me. I felt it was someone from the BBC that had almost started this trend. I don't mind that so much, because at least that's a bit of fun, because everyone likes a story, don't they, and a bit of trolling and the dark side that's not very good. So that was happening there. This all started with a lovely Mother's Day image that was released by Princess of Wales, and obviously that was it was killed by all the photo agencies, sadly, and it was such a lovely photograph. But all of a sudden, every single picture house internationally, the renowned picture agencies, sort of almost quite attacked Kate because it had a little bit of Photoshop. They were calling it manipulation. Give a nice little picture for Mother's Day. But it's from there has got a little bit mad. And I know that we have another photograph that was published for the Queen's at the late Queen Elizabeth II's 97th birthday. And the reason I want to show this as well, one, how great to have her grandchildren and great-grandchildren around her. But this was another one. It was released for her 97th birthday. She's actually going to be, she would have been 98 on the 21st of April, so quite soon. And again, there's a few touches of Photoshop. The agencies have gone completely mad, and everyone's been attacking Kate for it, which is so unfair, because they have private secretaries, they have their comms department at Kensington Palace to protect things like this. And what it is that you have to put out an authentic photograph. Any degree of Photoshop or slight editing, they have to take, this is a photo libraries, they take it out of the photo libraries and they can't use the images, even if it's very slight. Now, I know that, being a photographer, really you can only slightly lighten the pictures or maybe darken the pictures. But it sort of got out of hand. It's got very nasty, because she's taken the flak for it. She's been very lovely and she's not well. So there's something going on in Kensington Palace. They should have protected her. The whole idea, it's a mistrust thing. You can't trust the monarchy. This shouldn't have happened. But, I can see what's happened. And actually, if you turn it around to the agencies, these huge renowned agencies, i.e. Getty, you name it, they also should have been looking and noticed if they're making such a big deal about it. And also, I will disclose that the agencies are also a little bit perturbed, and have been, that the Princess of Wales takes her own photographs. It's always been a problem. They've always been niggled because they have to put the pictures out. But they really want their own photographers to be, taking the photographs. I can see it going that way, because no one wants the trolling that the Princess of Wales has received. And I think probably just for her sanity, and so that she can have a bit more time for her family and for the royal work, she should, employ a professional photographer that she trusts. I'm here. Anyway, moving on, I think now we should talk about, this was a little while ago, actually. It's not such a current thing, but it made me laugh. And I'm looking for things that make me laugh, because there's been so much upset and running around. So this is Queen Camilla, who's been so stoic and so amazing. I do love her. Obviously, King Charles still with moment. She's been away. She's been doing lots of amazing work. But I love the fact she was with Women of the World, which is a charity. And there was a big tour bus that was traveling around the country, and it ended in the palace. And Women of the World, they basically teach young adults, older people, amazing skills, make them aware of various things. It's a very enlightening experience, and there's lots of people like Mel B. I'm trying to think of all the people, that the ambassadors. But anyway, she was there at Buckingham Palace. It was a big function, and she was given her own Barbie. And I want my own Barbie too. But she was so thrilled, because she was so excited that it had knocked 50 years off her. She was having a little giggle. It made her feel good. And she said that everyone in the world, we should have our Barbies. Not that she wanted to knock the life away, obviously, but as you can see, but she was also wearing the same outfits, which I think is so lovely. So a little bit of fun. I do love Camilla. And moving on, we've been speaking about various subjects, or I have, with various broadcasters, and one of the things that's been highlighted, having looked at education quite thoroughly, is various people are bringing out books, as all my fellow people here are, apart from me, and I will do at some point. But Charles Spencer is the late Princess Diana's brother. He's brought out a very interesting book, and the book is A Very Private School. Now, I had no idea that this was coming out. There was no whispers of it at all, and it's incredibly interesting, and it's almost, you can look into certain periods of life as well where things happened that maybe weren't so great. So this is a story about his private school, and when he was 8, he was taken away from home, put in this private school, and it took a huge part of his life away. And interestingly, he writes about it in his book. happened with his peers, and it's only now he is really regaining that part of his life back. And from the age of 8, the school, the boarding he was at, it was a cultural really, and sexual abuse at the age of 8. There's you can't
Clicking.
Speaker has changed. Can you hear me better now?
Yes, perfect.
This
Thank
is
you.
internal. Okay, I'm going to bin these and get some. Do you know these are very expensive? These, and I'm not very happy with that. But never mind. Hopefully this is better, guys. Now, did you hear any of my Charles Spencer bits?
We did, yes, and we've got a video we're ready to show when you're ready.
This is just a little. It's a little. What I love is it's quite a serious book. It means so much to him. He's opened up. He's opened his heart up, and I honestly, my heart goes out to him. At the age of 8, if you think being a young boy and times him by however many people that go to boarding schools, and it was a culture of cruelty there, sexual abuse and more. But he's written this book. He's got through the emotional side. He's regaining that bit of his life back. But this is just him, the late Princess Diana's brother. He's just received his books, and maybe this is something you can all relate to.
So, a box from Simon & Schuster, and I am hoping that it is, the very first American copies with the American cover of Charles Spencer, A Very Private School, a memoir. There's nothing much more satisfying for an author than feeling and enjoying your book for the very first time.
I love that. It's just a really fun clip. I almost could sense that feeling, that passion. And I wanted to grab his book and I wanted to sniff it. But I just think, good for him, great to bring out. And he's had a lot of very, very good reviews, which is great news. I think I'm going to now move on to the Duke of Edinburgh. He's recently celebrated his 60th birthday. I actually didn't realise I loved him as much as I do. I've not had as much to do with the Duke of Edinburgh, in fact, both of them, as I would like to do. But recently we've seen him a lot on TV, on different chat shows, just chatting. And it was so lovely to see. He's 60, he's been celebrating, but how close he is with his wife. And they are such a strong couple. They love each other, they understand each other, they've been together for 25 years, and they are a real positive force for our royal family. So he's very much like his dad, Prince Philip, the late Prince Philip, and he's a mix of both of them. He's got a bit of cheeky fun, but he's very relatable and gets on so well with people. And I think, hearing as well, his wife gave a really beautiful speech, just saying how well they get on and how he gives so much to people. In fact, she called him an iceberg because a lot of what he does is under the surface. People don't see him do it. So the little bit at the top is him actually going out and performing. But I thought, how lovely. And we don't see enough of them. And I do think they should have more airtime. But King Charles has recently given him his Prince Edward, who's obviously the Duke of Edinburgh. He's given him Scotland's top honour. So he's been awarded the Order of the Thistle. So congratulations to him. It's the highest honour in Scotland, and it comprises of 16 knights, ladies, and the monarch, sovereign of the order. And it's something, I think, if you've been obviously working within the royal family, doing public duty for so long, that's why he's been giving it. But it recognises Scottish men and women that have held public office who contributed in a particular way to national life. So that's what it's about. Queen Camilla and Prince of Wales, Princess Anne also have the same title. And there's a photograph. I just like to show the photograph. That's him at home, and it's really nice. They've got a lovely life. They love animals. They've even got hedgehogs, 3 dogs, and I think it's a very beautiful picture of his dogs. I don't know if the tortoise is called Marmite. I don't think Marmite's in it. But this is Labrador teal, Cocker Spaniel mole, and the Labrador puppy called Teasel. But I can really see the late Prince Philip and Queen Elizabeth II in him. What a fabulous guy. I really, really applaud him. And I think people should follow him. I think we will be seeing more and more of him. And finally, I am going to talk about something that I rushed down the road when I heard about it. It's a bit of a trek, but it's sort of close to where I live, so I rang down. So the locals in Finsbury Park, which is in North London, were really, really excited, very, very proud and delighted to be chosen by Banksy. Now, Banksy is that ever elusive artist. He chooses certain places in the country, in Great Britain, to do his wonderful artworks. And this little area is a place in Hornsey, and I would say it's probably it's not the most flourishing area, and there's a lot of council property there. It's a very happy area, but he's chosen this side of a building to do one of his great arterial spray of green paint. And the locals woke up, I think it was Monday morning now. Now that's actually the picture. Can we show the picture to begin with? There's another one there, Dr. Jacalyn. Is that? Yes. So there we go. This is a very sad tree, and this is what a lot of the trees are looking like at the moment. I think this is a pollard, they call it, or is it a coppice? If DIANN was here, I think she'd be able to tell us. But so it's a lot of the trees and are looking a bit sad. He always has a thought process behind his artworks, and he basically is saying we've really got to look after nature. Nature's struggling. We've got to help nature. Let's not just do processes just because it's easy for maybe the council to just go and chop the trees. So he then decided it must have been done through the night. Should we show the other picture again? Which is that. So what he's done, that's obviously, if you can look, it's quite clever. You can see the green behind it, which is like the foliage. That colour green is a local council green as well that they use. So he's thought about it, and you can see the little man there at the bottom of the tree that's holding this sort of spray pot thing, which I think is what he did to do this, to create this green foliage. The side of the building, it was sort of white. You can see white. It's all peeling off. It was quite interesting because we had loads of film cameras and everything there, and the owner of the building was so excited because Banksy puts hundreds of thousands of pounds onto people's properties because he's worth so much money. And this guy could not believe it. And all the people living in that property were also frightened that they were going to have their huge rent increases. I doubt that's happened. And he launched this on St. Patrick's Day. I just think it was very exciting. It was actually very nice to be there photographing. I've got loads and loads of pictures. But the sad thing I could say, which is absolutely typical of our life, it's been vandalised. So someone decided to just go and daub masses of white paint, which has sort of gone over it in a huge way and is all over the grass, and which is quite sad. But it's been cordoned off. It happens, doesn't it? I don't know what gets into people. There's a lot of unrest at the moment. But there we go. International Day of Happiness today. So I think we need to share the love. There we are. I hope you heard that. I wish in a way I'd not had my earbuds in now. Did you hear me?
Yes, we heard all of it. Thank you.
So lots and lots and lots has been happening. What I would say is while information's been going on with Where's Kate, and it's all been really horrible, the Prince and Princess of Wales, Prince William, has been so strong. They're not about to divorce and all these things that are going on. But Prince William was seen after they were spotted at the farm. because he really is pushing forward. He doesn't want to listen to all the noise, negative noise. So he joined a conference, and it was to do with homelessness in Sheffield. Met loads of people. I think the business had given a 1 million boost. He supports the Homewoods, which is initiated. It's his flagship initiative, but he has an interest in all the local partnerships. So I think it's Home Base, or is it something like that, that's given £1 million, which is going to be given to starter packs, so people can start new homes and make them into a home. But he was so lovely. He talked about Princess of Wales in a beautiful way, because they were talking about children as well. Praised her for all her work with early learning. So it's just really good. It's that sort of onwards and upwards. The royal family are moving ahead and not worrying about things. And obviously it's quite important to always be seen. I don't know whose mantra that was. I think it was Queen Victoria that said you have to be seen to be believed. So obviously with the Princess of Wales being out of action, poor thing, with such a serious operation, it's important, because if you're not seen, that's when the conspiracy theories and everything starts. So I think a lesson learned to their PR team. But anyway, thank you so much. That was my bit of news. There's so much news, but I must stop now. Is it?
As I said at the top of the hour, we could be here for hours just listening to what's going on. But also, Helena, to your earlier point, when we have this image here of the sun, great to see you again, Kate. I'm looking at a headline here in the States. Body language expert explains viral clip of Kate Middleton setting social media ablaze, and people still questioning, is it really her?
Exactly, it is. And that's why it was so funny that, this is why the lookalike Heidi Agan got so much attention, because this is a lookalike, this is not a real person. All of a sudden it was her, but it wasn't her. She actually is very good. I don't think I've got great photos to highlight it, but it was quite funny. Well, at least her social media's alive, and it's given her it propels her forward. I'm sure she's going to be doing lots of bookings internationally. I think lookalikes are really good fun, and definitely, if people are out or something's happened, people always like to have lookalikes to pep things up. And there are some very good ones around, I have to say. It's not all tacky as some people would think.
She definitely does look like her.
Yeah, she does. She's a good person. There's a lot. You have to do so much research, because not only that, you have to have all the clothes, all the the patter, the jewelry. It's big business. It really is.
Her mannerisms and the way she walks.
Absolutely. And also it can work for the royal family on occasion when artists need decoys, which can happen. Hasn't happened recently, but on occasion it's that they do well.
Yeah. No, I think, she was out for a stroll near her home. Basically, it was only a few yards from where she's living, and so she was out there without any makeup, and out with William, who obviously was William, even with the cap pulled down over the face. But and I think people just sort of think, oh no, if she goes out, she should be on all her finery and have the makeup on and all the rest of it and so on. And they see her without makeup and say, oh, it can't be her. So she was out for a jolly to pick up some bread at the local farm shop, and good for her.
Absolutely. I think as well, unfortunately, there's this awful, Meghan side and Kate side. It's like this battle thing, and there's been a lot of trolling and sort of people that like Meghan, they sort of dislike Kate, and it's so horrible, isn't it? It really has got very nasty, and it causes so much upset. I don't know. See, social media is such a powerful good, but then when it goes down the negative line, it's just awful. I do know that the Princess of Wales has been quite disturbed and upset by everything that's happened, because she's gone in with good intentions and tried to do, little things like offer a Mother's Day picture. And now her son Louis is going to be 6 on the 23rd of April. And everyone's saying, who's going to take the picture? And, just let her take the picture and put the picture out. It's lovely. People like seeing it. She's a very good photographer. It doesn't have to be photoshopped. Enough. I think let's move on. It's just getting boring. There's so many important things in the world. And it's just, people got too much time on their hands. What is this?
Well said, Helena. I know at the beginning of the show you were mentioning that there's a big announcement that's going to break soon. And Simon and I were talking backstage before the show started that apparently out of Russia there were rumors that the king was dead. And so any idea as to what this big announcement is going to be?
Do you know, it's the most unusual time, extraordinary time, because we normally do know prior what's going on a little bit. There's sort of like an inner circle. It's the only way I can explain it, really. And you get fed tidbits. The BBC will give you an update that there's going to be an announcement, within, I don't know, 48 hours or something. And it's, I think, because of the conspiracy theories that have been going around, which have been, about the Princess of Wales, about King Charles, about the whole royal family, it's just this mess. And then I think if you get people, for instance, like from certain broadcast platforms like the BBC joining in, certain quite reputable broadcasters, as I thought, I mean, what hope is there? So, I mean, at the moment, we're just waiting. I really don't. I personally do not know. My heart is sort of in my mouth. I'm just hoping everything's okay. I can only think, is it to do with King Charles? We shall see. As soon as if I get any tidbit, I will send something through as soon as possible. But, already different broadcast platforms are in touch from different countries wanting to do interviews. But I genuinely don't have the information at this moment. Otherwise, I would love to share it with you first. Of course, always.
Absolutely. Well, Helen, I know how busy you are. Thank you so much for being here today. We'll look forward to seeing you at 1 p.m. today for the Royally Rich Lifestyle Show, episode 20.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you.
Simon, over to you. I know you have a presentation that you want to share with us today. What is your topic and who will you be discussing?
Well, there we go. I mean, I've been doing an awful lot about history and mystery, and this is a real mystery, and it goes back to the year 1900, and it's a fascinating story. The actual sort of final truth of it has never ever been discovered. It's about the Flannan Isles, which are a little tiny group of very small islands off the west coast of Scotland. In fact, they're off the west of the Western Isles, very remote area, and it was just an extraordinary story. There were 3 lighthouse keepers there, and they just disappeared. So let's find out. So let's see and get the theory on what could have happened. So it was the transatlantic steamer, the Archer, that first noticed that something was actually wrong. And it was on its voyage from the port of Leith to Philadelphia. And the Archer passed the lighthouse on the Flannan Isles on the night of the 15th of December, 1900. And the crew then noticed that the light was actually off. Well, after docking in Leith 3 days later, the news was passed to the Northern Lighthouse Board that something was amiss on Flannan. A mystery that's explored in the 2019 film The Vanishing. Anyway, the board dispatched the lighthouse relief tender ship Hesperus to investigate. And arriving at the island on Boxing Day, the ship's captain, Jim Harvey, sounded his horn and sent up a flare, hoping to alert the 3 lighthouse keepers, James Ducat, Thomas Marshall, and William MacArthur. Well, there was no response. So disembarking from the Hesperus, the relief lighthouse keeper, Joseph Moore, set off up the 160 steep steps to the lighthouse at the top of the cliff. Now, 3 giant blackbirds perched on the cliffs above him cast their beady eyes on his progress. And reaching the lighthouse compound and entering the living quarters, Moore noticed that the clock in the kitchen wall had stopped. The table was set for a meal that had never been eaten. The chair had been toppled over. A canary in the cage was the only sign of life. So, returning to the eastern landing, Moore reported his findings to the captain of the Hesperus. Harvey sent another 2 sailors to the shore, and they and Moore began looking for signs of life. Well, after a thorough search of the lighthouse complex, it turned up nothing but a set of oilskins, suggesting that one of the keepers had ventured out in just his shirt sleeves. Well, the men turned their attention to the landing platform on the west side of the island, and here there was plenty of evidence that the island had recently been hit by a massive storm. A supply box had been smashed open and its contents strewn across the ground, despite being over 100 feet above sea level. Iron railings on the side of the path had been bent and twisted out of shape. Part of a railway track that had been torn from its concrete moorings, and a huge rock weighing more than a ton had been displaced. Turf had also been ripped up from the tops of the cliffs, 200 feet above sea level. There was no sign of the three keepers. So what had happened? Poor fellows, they must have been blown over the cliffs or drowned trying to secure a crane or something like that. That was Harvey's conclusion in a telegram to the Northern Lighthouse Board after the Hesperus returned to port. Harvey had left Moore and 3 sailors behind to tend to the light and continue the search. Well, they scoured the islands for the 3 missing men, but found nothing. On arriving on the island December 29th, the board superintendent, Robert Muirhead, began an investigation into the keeper's disappearance. Now, Muirhead knew all 3 of the missing men well, so examining the oilskin that had been left behind, he concluded it belonged to William MacArthur. So after going over the wreckage on the western landing, Muirhead speculated that Marshall and Duckett must have headed out into the storm to try and secure the equipment stored there. When they didn't return, Muirhead had surmised that MacArthur must have ventured out to try and find them. So from the evidence I was able to procure, Muirhead concluded in his official report, I was satisfied that the men who had been on duty up till dinner time Saturday the 15th of December, and that they had gone down to secure a box in which the mooring ropes and landing ropes, etc. were kept, and which were secured in a crevice in the rock about 110 feet above sea level, and that an extra large sea had rushed up the face of the rock, had gone above them and coming down with immense force and had swept them completely away. But as far as the public was concerned, Muirhead's report wasn't the end of the story. Speculation was soon rife. Theories more suited to the Middle Ages were soon doing the rounds, such as the men being gobbled up by a giant sea serpent or whisked off by a huge seabird. One theory had the men leave the island by boat to escape debts, while another of them had spirited away the skeletal crew of the ghost ship, and some people even thought the men had been kidnapped by foreign spies. While more doubt was cast on the official investigation, with the emergence of a logbook, which supposedly containing several baffling entries between the 12th and 15th of December. In the first entry, Marshall was supposed to have written that a great storm, the likes of which he had never seen before, had hit the island. He continued that Duckett was unusually quiet when the storm hit, and MacArthur, a big burly man, not known for having much of a sensitive side, was weeping. The second entry had all 3 men praying in the eye of the monstrous storm, and a third, the final entry, supposedly written on the 15th, states that the storm had passed and all was now calm. On hearing about the existence of these logbook entries, many questioned the idea that the men had been swept out to sea. If anyone had died, surely whoever wrote the 15th of December entry would have mentioned this. Well, there had to be another explanation. There was indeed another explanation. The logbook entries were injected into the story several years after Marshall, Duckett, and MacArthur had disappeared. There was no evidence they ever existed, as the Fortean Times journalist Mike Dash discovered after carrying out his own investigation. So dismissing both the fake logbook entries and the fanciful truths of the sea serpents and the ghost ships, what are we left with? 3 theories have emerged over the years that seek to explain the men's disappearance. The first is based on the character William MacArthur. MacArthur was by all accounts an ill-tempered man who was quick to settle an argument with his fists. It had been speculated that he could have started a fight up on the western landing, which led to all 3 men falling to their deaths from the cliffs. Well, the second theory is that one of the men, again probably MacArthur, murdered the other 2, ditched their bodies into the sea, and then threw himself off the cliffs. While both theories add a level of bloodthirsty juiciness to the mystery, there's no evidence that either a fight or a murder took place. It is, of course, perfectly possible for men in confined quarters to rub each other up the wrong way to the point of where they snap and all hell breaks loose, especially if one of them has a history of violence. But without bodies or crime scenes to examine, these 2 theories will forever remain mere supposition. The much more plausible explanation is that Marshall and Duckett were swept away while trying to secure the supplies and the equipment on the West Landing. When his colleagues failed to return, MacArthur headed out to find them, and he too perished in the storm. Why anyone would head out in such a dangerous expedition when they could have stayed safe in the lighthouse can be explained by the fact that Marshall had previously been fined 5 shillings for losing equipment in the previous gale. As a family man, losing 5 shillings in 1900 was actually no laughing matter, so it was no surprise if securing equipment was more important to Marshall than his personal safety. Of course, the real reason for the disappearance of James Duckett and Thomas Marshall and William MacArthur will probably never ever be known. However, these men met their fate on that cold December night back in 1900. Be it by accident, misadventure, or design, the Flannan Isles mystery remains one of the most baffling episodes in Scottish maritime history. And there we have the story and the mystery and history of the Flannan Isles. Now, I've actually sailed past the Flannan Isles, and the height of those cliffs is actually quite incredible. So for a storm to batter that, and I've been out in some storms in the Atlantic as well, and I know what the force of the water can do. It is quite possible that the force of a wave bashing against that cliff, going over the top, then coming down on top, would smash that box up, and the men rely on that box and the equipment for their, securing mooring lines for transferring personnel and for other items, food items and fuel and all the rest of it as well. But it's history with a mystery. Are we there?
Yes, we had a slight technology glitch. I don't know what it is. It seems like we're all experiencing them today. So,
Oh, well.
by the way, I love this photograph. What year is this from? Do you know?
Well, that must have been just before before it happened. It was probably before they went out on duty to the lighthouse. So it would be presumably in sometime earlier in 1900.
Mm-hmm. I love the mustaches, don't you?
And they just, I mean, could you imagine trying to eat some soup with that? I mean, it's going to be, you're going to be eating it for a month afterwards. Keep the noses warm.
For sure. And Simon, you always do such a great job with your presentations. Can you tell us anything about what's going on there in the news in Scotland, what's going on with the fisheries, some of the things you're involved with?
Well, as I've been involved in a few meetings recently, there is a new fisheries management plan in the offing, and they had quite an interesting meeting with the Scottish Government there the other day on that. It's being fine-tuned now, and I think got the message across that it's actually the fishermen's input that matters. Because I've been pushing like mad for a while to point out that the skipper in his wheelhouse looking at the screens in front of him, and usually these ships now, the fishing boats have got a lot of technology going on there, so they're looking at the screens there and they know exactly what's going on down in the seabed. But somebody sitting in an office in a government building in Edinburgh making up the rules looks into his screen, and all he sees maybe is records of the landings and so on. He doesn't see what's going on down the seabed. So it's the fishermen themselves that have to be taken very seriously and very much into an account to make this new fisheries management plan plausible and make it to work. So that's the fisheries industry just now. That's the main thing that's on the go there. But there's still the usual thing in Parliament. There's always infighting going on. It's the political rows that go back and forward and so on, and it's never ending. So that's about it. But the weather's brightening up, and I notice a lot more traffic on the roads, a lot more out-of-town registration numbers now. So we're getting the tourists coming back. It's good to see them. We need their money. So,
that's a good sign.
Yeah.
What about on this day?
Right, on this day, in 1774, the British Parliament passes the first of the intolerable acts, the Boston Port Act. which closed Boston Harbor until the colonists would pay for damages following the Boston Tea Party. So there we go, Boston Tea Party. What a do that was. And Boston's a beautiful city. I love it, absolutely love it. In 1854, the Republican Party was founded. And one of the leading lights, of course, there was Abraham Lincoln. So birthdays. Well, we've got one birthday here just now. In 1939, Brian Mulroney was the 18th Prime Minister of Canada from 1984 to 93, and he was born in Baie-Comeau in Quebec. And for deaths, this time was quite a recent one, I suppose. In 2020, the American country singer and songwriter Kenny Rogers passed away at the age of 81 of natural causes. He was quite a legend in his own lifetime as Kenny Rogers, and loved the world over. So
I loved him. He was fabulous.
Wasn't he? He was very, very good. And, he had a song for everything, for everyone as well. Everyone can relate to. And his words were actually, very, very important in the songs.
Very true. Well, thank you, Simon. You and I will have an announcement to make it sometime in the future, but we'll save that for right now. And I really appreciate all the effort that you put into your presentation and the research that you do. So thank you so much for being here.
Oh, it's my pleasure. I absolutely love it. I wouldn't miss it for the world.
All right, my friend, we'll see you again next week.
Great stuff. Good. I do. I'll very maybe finish with one little quote for people as well out there as well. If Plan A doesn't work, remember the alphabet has another 25 letters to go through. So it'll eventually fix it one way or another.
That's great. That's just what we need to hear today. Thank you. Bye for now.
Bye just now. And lovely to be here. See you next week.
See you next week. Thank you, everyone. Whether you're watching on the live or the replay, we really do appreciate you. We love all of our followers, especially hello to our new followers on Roku worldwide, as well as Amazon Fire. Stay tuned for an announcement about Apple TV. We'll be there soon as well. If you'd like to be a guest on any of our shows, please go to our website, usaglobaltv.com/book your session. Thank you again. We look forward to having you for our next show starring Anne Scotland. She's got a brand new show that she's launching to help you be an expert when it comes to podcasting, followed by the Royally Rich Lifestyle Show, episode 20, starring Mr. Ian Pelham Turner and Helena CHARD. That's a wrap for today. See you again soon. Bye.
The last few days have been really amazing. I had a trainer course from the British School of Etiquette.
And I must say it's been one of the best decisions I've ever made and one of the best investments I've made in my own training and development.
Now, words alone will not describe the transformation and the positive path that I have traveled with the British School of Etiquette.
I found I learned a lot from the lessons this time I came.
The last few days with the British School of Etiquette have been fantastic.
And what I've learned now is really beyond my expectations.
This is the most rewarding experience and the best investment I have made this year.
It was just great. I learned so much, and when I go back to Belgium I will incorporate a lot of it into my day-to-day life and business.
It's been absolutely wonderful for the whole week that we were here.
I feel transformed, and I feel like blowing a trumpet and tell people, come and do this school. This class is the best. This is the best school ever.
You should take it. It will change your life immediately.
I am now able to teach other people how to bring the best of them.
Thank you.
Thank you, BSc.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.